Hey, it's Laura here. Before we get into today's episode, I wanted to let you know that we've opened the doors to the Inner Hub membership. We haven't done this in quite some time, so we're very excited about it, and we're going to leave them open until Friday. So if you work in social media, whether you offer social media management, training, ads management, content creation, or anything else related to social media, and you want our help to help you to grow your business so you can work with amazing clients, making the money that you want to make, offering the services that you want to offer, now is the time to come and join the Inner Hub. We'll make sure that the link is in the show notes, but you can go direct to thetwolauras.com/Inner Hub and you'll be able to join straight away. We're going to leave the doors open until 10 p.m. this Friday, the 27th of September. That's 10 p.m. UK time. So if you want to join us, make sure you get in before then. And if you've got any questions at all about whether or not the membership is right for you, come and drop us a DM on Instagram. You'll find us on there as the Two Lauras. But for now, let's get on with today's show.
On the show today, we're sharing some genius ways social media managers make money from B-roll videos.
Welcome to JFDI with Two Lauras. This is the show where we share ideas and advice to help freelance social media managers to get better results for their clients and make more money for themselves. At the moment, B-roll seems to be a bit of a buzzword when it comes to social media content. So in today's show, we're diving into 7 genius ways we've seen social media managers make money from B-roll videos lately. According to the latest HubSpot State of Video Marketing Trends report, 89% of consumers want to see more videos from brands in 2024. And people are 52% more likely to share video content than any other type of content. But business owners are still reluctant to create video, or they just don't know how to, which is where you can come in. So grab a notebook or make sure you make time to come back to this episode again later, because there's probably at least one service you can take from this episode to offer yourself. So before we dive into it, just for anyone who doesn't already know, what even is a B-roll?
I probably should have looked at a dictionary definition. Or do you think it's not even in the dictionary?
I reckon it probably is. I would say, and I haven't looked at the dictionary definition either, but I would say that traditionally, and what it probably would say in a dictionary, it's like the pieces of video that go in between the main parts of a scene.
Yeah.
Whereas on social, they're used like standalone, aren't they?
So I'd have said, being media trained that I am, that when I used to do video editing, the B-roll was the video that, the filler video, or that
made the edits look less choppy.
It was just or background video that actually wasn't part of the storytelling side of it. But yeah, now in modern day, we're seeing B-roll as essentially the main video, aren't we?
It's like the background still, though, isn't it? Like the story is still told on top of it.
Yeah.
Rather than the B-roll being the actual story.
It's just like so if you were to create a static piece of content and you wanted to write something over a image, the image is essentially B-roll, and that's the same as the video. It's what sits in the background of the actual message that you're trying to get across.
Yeah, definitely. But I think it's important to say that before we get into all of these different ways you can make money, everything we're going to say today is applicable to any kind of video, not just B-roll.
Oh, yeah.
So you might be thinking, B-roll, I don't think that would really work for my niche. But first of all, it probably would. But secondly, you can apply this to any type of video.
Yeah.
So should we go straight in with the first one? Okay, so the first one that I've seen quite a few people doing this on social media lately, is dedicated B-roll group shots, by which I mean getting a group of people together in a nice location. And it might be that they're all from different businesses, but it might be a lot of people from one business. But you get a group of people together in a nice location, so maybe a rented house, fancy shopping mall, the beach, a nice park. IKEA, definitely. All of those sorts of places. And you would bring like all of the props and what have you. And all of these people would have the same videos shot throughout the time you're together. So where I've seen this being marketed on social media, people have had between 7 to 10 people, maybe up to around 20. And they've offered it either as like a full day shoot or a half day shoot. And when they like show what the outcome of it has been, There have been some videos that they've just shot of the person like whose business it is, so they're on their own. There's also been like group videos, so if you need people where there's lots of people in the videos, there's those group videos. Some of them are shot by the social media manager. Some of them, the social media guides the group and everyone in the group is shooting them. So there's lots of different ways that you could do it. But it's very much that there isn't any kind of strategy or planning kind of created for these kind of shots, because it's quite a low ticket option and it's much lower ticket than some of the others that we're going to talk about. But you could maybe give them some sort of workbook beforehand or some sort of planning sheet or something that they could do beforehand so they know what they need to do in the session. But the session itself isn't like a training session. It's not like a strategic, this is why we're taking this kind of shot. It's not that sort of thing. It's much more relaxed and chilled, and they just come away with a load of videos.
It's giving people an opportunity to get a bank of videos that they can dip into then for the coming weeks and months and years of creating content.
Yeah.
It's not training.
No, exactly.
But if anything, it's the accountability. So we, we can all sit here and say, oh yeah, well, we often have this conversation. Oh, we just need to create some more B-roll. But the reality is, unless Laura's shouting at me or repeated that message, it doesn't happen because it gets forgotten. So this allows business owners to have that accountability and to have that dedicated time, and they can go away and bash out a load of B-roll.
Yeah, definitely. And it's the accountability, but it's also sometimes you need someone else to shoot it for you, don't you? And if your husband is like mine, then you've got no hope. I asked my husband to shoot a B-roll of me walking along the beach the other day, and I ended up with half the screen full of disgusting seaweed and this tiny little shadow of a person in the background, a video I'm never ever going to be able to use. So,
we should totally use it.
Maybe we should use it to promote this podcast. But prime example of accountability, like both of us should have shown up to this podcast with a tripod set up, ready to record ourselves some B-roll while we're talking. And I haven't, and I bet you haven't either.
I definitely haven't, mainly because I haven't got any makeup on.
So there we go. Anyway, so that's number one. That could be so easy to do. Literally just find a nice location.
And how fun is that? Especially you're laughing if you've got like a nice kitchen in your own home, and obviously you don't mind people coming round, or a lovely back garden. Like if or even your mother or your mother-in-law, if they've got like a nice, well looked after garden, it's like cheap as chips then, isn't it? It doesn't. And it's quite informal. Have a cup of tea, maybe a bit of a chit. Oh yeah, I'd come. So let me know when you're doing your shoot.
If you've got a client that's got a nice venue, like a really nice shop or something, do it out of hours, or a nice cafe, restaurant, those sorts of places. That could be great too.
Nice bar.
Yeah, love it. Okay, so anyway, so that is number one. The second version of that is a little bit more, could be a little bit more high ticket, bit more planning involved. Probably going to make more money. And this is what we have seen described as like a B-roll mastermind day. So it's very similar in that you would have a group of people together and you would be probably shooting a lot of the B-roll yourself and helping them to do it too. But you would also help them to plan and record those B-rolls so they've got that strategic content ready to go out. So by the end of the day, or, you might do it over a couple of days, a weekend, whatever, you spend time strategizing, planning those ideas, and everyone creates their own spin on those ideas. So it's not like one-to-one, oh, this business is going to go and do this thing, and this business is going to go and do this thing. You would strategize like the overall strategy that would work for everybody, and everyone's then going to have their own spin on that. Like, for example, everyone's probably going to need some sort of content that introduces a brand, but they're all going to do that differently. So you can do that, and then everyone would obviously create that content. And you could, throughout the day, you could split that into a few sessions where you're like strategizing on a specific objective, and then people are recording their B-roll to go with that. And they could work together to get those B-roll shots. They could work in groups if they need more than one person in a video, or they need somebody to record them, for example. So it's a really good way of them networking and meeting people and, coming up with good collabs and stuff. And ideally, if you're going to do something like that, again, it would be in a lovely location, all of that stuff. But ideally, you would try and get some of that content to be published on the day so that those people start to see immediate traction. So they leave feeling like they've achieved something. Ideally, they leave with a good result from that content, which leaves them with a really good feeling. You get great results and great feedback then. And whilst they're still in the room, you could record those testimonials, record the excitement of how they've created this content. And, you know, if somebody happens to start getting loads of views and loads of comments or leads or what have you, get them to record you a testimonial at that time. So, you know, you can really capture that excitement.
Well, and as an added bonus, you'll also get your B-roll recorded at the same time, and you're essentially being paid to create your own B-roll.
Totally. Love that.
I would definitely, if I had my time again and I was setting up now, I would do this.
Yeah.
So when I used to do all my workshops, I'd probably still do the workshops, but I would definitely do this.
Yeah.
I'd take everyone up the top of the Malvern Hills, or maybe find a nice house as well. And I'd just create, it'd be such an easy, nice, fun day.
Yeah.
Or afternoon.
Good. And like you can make it feel really kind of exclusive and high ticket by, you know, advising them on what to bring, but also maybe if you've priced it right, you can give them the things they need. You know, the little sticky things you put on the back of the phone so they can stick it to the window or whatever. All of you know, they can have a little goodie bags that makes it really easy for them to do this stuff. You can bring a load of tripods with you so that no one's stuck on not having the right equipment. You know, if you've got lights, you could bring those sort of things with you. So you could make it really good.
Yeah.
So it feels like high quality, and host it in a lovely fancy house or a nice hotel, and, you know, nice food, all of that sort of stuff. That'd be brilliant.
Yeah.
I'd love to go to one of those days, actually. Let's try and find one and book it. Do it. Ideally somewhere like Ibiza.
Yeah.
Especially if it's in somewhere hot, like Ibiza, Barcelona, we're in. Save us a spot.
Yeah. Sold.
Okay.
Okay, so the third thing we can do, which is going to get you a bit more moolah in the old bank, is a high ticket one-to-one service. So think of, you know, what we've kind of discussed. You can bring in a lot of those kind of attributes of these group things that we've just been talking about, but you're making it a one-to-one service, which straight away is worth more money, and you should be charging a premium for that. And you can extend that to not just having a day where you're, you know, helping someone record B-roll. You could have a session in advance of that where you're pre-planning, you're getting to understand what their kind of objectives are, so you know exactly what you need to achieve. You can therefore create a plan for that. You can create, you know, like if you have a photo shoot done nowadays, you would have a call, they would plan, you'd talk about makeup, hair, what you're going to wear, what props you need to bring. You can do all of that. But obviously this is going to just be for video, not photos.
Yeah.
And then, that's your kind of first layer really of a high ticket one-to-one service. But if you really wanted to go to town, you could also be much more strategic in helping them write the captions, helping them write the hooks that go on top of your B-roll, even sit down and get those scheduled with them. And so they literally, they literally get everything done in that one day, kind of, with a bit of planning and maybe a bit of post work. But it means that for a business who understands that they need to get this done, but for whatever reason they don't get it done, they don't have the skill set, they don't have the time, they don't have the inclination, they don't have the tools, they don't really understand what they should be doing. All of those things are just ticked off straight away, and they just have one full day with a bit of maybe prep work, and it gets done.
Yeah, so what you could do, even, you could almost make it like a 1 week service where, like, the first day of week 1, they get some sort of questionnaire they've got to fill in for you. So you can then start planning. Then you could have a call with them where you're like making sure everything's all right and what have you. You have the actual shoot. Then you have a day of editing, and then you have a day of like creating the content, writing the captions, all of that stuff, scheduling it. A whole, like, how much could you charge for that for a week? That would be amazing.
It would be lush.
Yeah. I mean, we might even buy that.
We're buying these all.
Don't cold pitch us. Love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was number 3. Number 4, and we've seen some people doing this quite successfully recently, is to have a B-roll online program. One of our members has done this summer, and it seems to have gone down really, really well. And so what you could do in this sort of case is that you could support a group of people. So this wouldn't be a one-to-one service. You could make it one-to-one probably, but this would be like a group program where you're supporting these people for, I don't know, say 4 to 6 weeks. And every week they're given specific prompts, specific ideas, specific ways that they can go and record the videos that they need. And you're also maybe giving them ways in which they can use those videos. So they're not just getting one use out of those videos, they can repurpose those videos. You could include caption prompts, scripts. You could include more training about why and how to use these things. You could think about targeting this at complete beginners by showing them how to shoot the reels, what props they need, talking to them about how to use the Reels editor, all of that stuff. Or you could make it, a little bit more advanced by being a bit more in depth on the strategy, and you're showing them how to do editing to put different types of B-rolls together, all of those sorts of things. So you could just think about who is the audience and what level does this need to be at. And you can make additional money, by the way, anytime you're doing any of these programs, by adding in affiliate commission, by recommending tools or
nice.
Apps or props or anything like that, or any tech that will help them with that, and making sure that any links that you're sharing are affiliate links. Always a good way to sprinkle a little bit of money on the top.
And I think of all the things that we're talking about on this episode, this one I think is the most easily scalable, probably.
Yes, for sure.
Because everything else, you're relying on a face-to-face service, so you're limited by numbers, but also location. Whereas having an online program, in theory, you're not limited by how many people do it. Obviously, it depends how you do it.
And it doesn't have to be a live program. It could be an evergreen self-study thing.
And they can be from anywhere in the world. So it's much more scalable than the group ones, and maybe it's a slightly lower ticket than the group and the face-to-face stuff.
Doesn't have to be, though.
No.
Could still be decent price.
Yeah.
Okay, next up, and I've seen quite a lot of people start to do this, which I think is genius, is working with a photographer. Now, quite often, photographers will work together. So, like, when I got married, I had my main photographer, and they brought along a friend who did, like, some, I guess you probably would call them, like, B-roll photos. I don't even know. Like, the kind of photos that are not staged. There's probably a word, but I can't think of it. Whereas, in this case, if a photographer is shooting, especially for, like, personal brands, small businesses, those sorts of people, and they've got a social media manager who comes along with them to record the B-roll. So you've got the B-roll of, that photo shoot. That could be a really good way for them to get great content, background, behind the scenes stuff that the client can use, but also maybe the photographer could use. But also it's a really good way to network and meet new potential clients, because you already know that this is a business shoot. It's either a personal brand or it's like, in a shop or wherever. It's some sort of business who is already investing in their photographer. So they're probably, quite keen to invest in their marketing. So that would be a really good fit to, maybe offer other services. And you could level this up by planning out the actual reels that you're going to record when you're there, telling them how they can use them when you deliver them. You can make sure they're edited, all of that sort of stuff. So they don't just get their photo shoot, and they're not just getting a B-roll of their photo shoot. They know how to use it strategically in their business. And you don't just have to limit yourself to shooting the B-roll of, them actually having their photos taken. You could do B-roll of their products and all of that sort of stuff as well.
Yeah, I was definitely going to say, for those people who've got a product-based business where they have their product photography done, normally the business owner is there anyway. So you're often you'd be able to get content and B-roll of both the product, the person, and them together. So it's a good opportunity to kind of tick a lot of boxes probably in one go if they're product-based. Yeah,
and I think we're also used to photographers, especially for product-based stuff. The photography always has to be amazing, doesn't it? And the photos are always almost stock image kind of level, aren't they? They're such good quality. Whereas the content we want to see on B-rolls and on videos, on Instagram, TikTok, those sorts of places, when they're really high produced like that, we scroll past them because they look like an ad. Whereas if you're taking the more kind of raw, real B-roll videos, it's probably going to work better. So by not having a proper photographer take those videos, there is a chance that they actually will stand out and work better because they are less overly produced. They are less slick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So 100%. Don't start thinking, but I can't do that because I'm not a photographer. I couldn't make it look amazing. The point
That's
is
the
it
whole
doesn't
point.
need to. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And this is something you could offer to your existing clients as well. If you know that your existing client's got a photo shoot booked, tell them, did you know I do this service? Do you want me to come along as well? So that you're not just offering it you're not just going to the photographers, although you definitely should do, think about who else has already got photo shoots booked. And often you'll see people on social saying, I've just booked a photo shoot with so-and-so. So, you know, that's a good potential in to get in with them on that B-roll shoot.
Yeah, nice. Like it.
I saw this next one on Threads, and when I saw it, I thought, oh my God, I really need to tell Laura about this because I really feel like we need to buy this. But I managed to withhold myself and not spend any more money. But it was somebody who, they kind of pitched it as a repurposing kind of service. And this service was a $400 service whereby the business that they were working with would send them 10 links to their existing content. So like podcasts, blogs, product links. One of their clients even gave them access to their membership. And so that the social media manager had 10 links to different things. And they would then go and create 10, or they wouldn't even create anything. They would give them 10 ideas for each of these links, right? What I think would work really, really well is by, yes, you give them those 10 ideas for each of these things they can repurpose, but take it one step further and make it specifically a service where you're giving them 10 short form video ideas with B-roll suggestions, or level it up, record the B-roll, or level it up and, you know, go on site and shoot the B-roll with them, whatever. And all they did was they just delivered it in an Airtable, and they showed screenshots of it on Threads. And so it was an Airtable that was like the original link of the original product or podcast or whatever, a list of 10 ideas. And then what you could just do is add in the videos that they could use, maybe even add in the captions. You know, the more you add in, the more you're going to want to charge, obviously. You could give them the hook, you could give them the copy, you could tell them exactly how to shoot. You could charge more by like giving them a video script, for example, to add a bit more variety. But there's loads of different ways that you could help them to repurpose their existing content. And I feel like there's not enough people doing this, which is why this stood out to me. And immediately I thought, oh my God, we need someone to do this for us.
Yeah, it's such a good idea.
It's such a good, simple service, but so needed.
And it's a real problem that I think people have in that people automatically, they struggle with ideas. They can't come up with the original idea. They're so busy doing everything else. But B, everybody overlooks the whole repurposing, you know, and something that we bang on about a lot. And I think there's a real opportunity for people to kind of make hay while the sun shines on some of their content they've already done, especially if it's good and it's worked well, then make it work well again and make it work harder. But equally, if it's not worked well, but it's a really important message or point or lesson, then repurposing it to try and make it work better is also an opportunity that so many people just don't tap into. And I think this is such a good idea. And I think when people are struggling with ideas and you've got someone looking at it with completely fresh eyes, looking at it as a marketer as well, so that it's not just some random person saying, oh, I've got 10 ideas for you. It's someone who is obviously trained and able to look at something strategically and give a business marketing ideas. Like 10 ideas for 10 things is 100. Like,
yeah, well done.
Really,
that's quick maths there, Laura.
I know.
But I mean, like just think like we've got probably like 120. I don't even know what number episode this is going to be. 120 or so episodes of our podcast. And every single time we come to record, we're like, oh, what are we going to record a podcast about? Whereas if somebody just went through our podcast list, they could come up with 10 ideas of, you know, they could find 10 great podcasts. They could write 9 ideas for each of those for social content and 1 idea for a podcast. And we'd have so much content from stuff we've already done.
Yeah, let's do it.
You know, without us having to think of new stuff. I can see she's like, yes, we need to buy this.
Yeah, I'm disappointed you didn't buy it.
I did save the link.
You don't normally, I was going to say, you don't normally not buy things.
I love it. On that note, I should say as well, if you need help with like repurposing or remixing like content, not just for you, but for your clients as well, we've got a really good guide that will help you with this. So just go to the2lauras.com/remix and you'll be able to grab that guide. That'll give you loads of different ways that you can turn any content into lots of other ideas using the same message, the same idea, etc. And there's examples and stuff in there as well. So that's the2lauras.com/remix. We'll make sure the link for that is in the show notes.
Okay, so the final number 7 is, and I love this one, and this is good if you are someone who enjoys going out and creating videos, but it's selling B-roll videos. So if you're someone who loves getting out there or getting in there. Doesn't have to be. I always think of outside when I think of B-roll, but obviously it can be inside. And you're someone who can create that bank of images or video, that people can then just buy off you. It's like easy, isn't it? If you imagine, and I am referring to outside again, but imagine you live in a really picturesque area, well, even if you don't actually, and you walk the dog every day and you're just filming as you go, like you're going to make money from walking the dog.
Love that.
The dream.
Is that the next thing you're going to do?
No, because I just live in a boring housing estate. I think you should, Laura. You live in a better area than me.
Okay, I'll take some beach without any seaweed on, yeah?
Yeah.
Although maybe there is a need for the seaweed ones. Who knows?
Yeah. But there might
if anyone wants any, let me know. I'll go out and shoot you some.
One person's... Oh, here we go. It's a phrase I can't remember the end of.
Oh, God. Here we go. One person's seaweed is someone else's something or other?
One person's... Oh, what is it? It's something like one person's shit is someone else's gold, but it's not that.
Oh, my God. Write in if you know.
Oh, it's going to annoy me. I will find that one out because I like that one.
Okay. I know it. One person's trash is another person's treasure.
Possibly, yeah.
I think that's right. I feel like I need a prize.
Well, let's go with it. It sounds better than my shit and gold.
Yeah,
I wasn't far off, though. Shit, gold. Gold is treasure. Trash, shit.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway,
so
back on script.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you're a social media marketer creating B-roll because you know what works on social media, I think it's going to be far better than the type of shit that can be available in some of the stock video options.
Some of the stock videos are
They're
so
just awful.
bad. I mean, the stock photography was always bad. Don't ever try and find stock photography of a disabled person because they're just horrendous. But I mean... On that note, I remember one stock photography thing. I used to work for a care agency and I was trying to find stock photography to use for them because they didn't have any photos. And there was this one photo, of this old lady in a wheelchair with her carer right on the edge of a cliff. It looked like she was going to push her off the edge of the cliff. So yeah, stock photos, stock videos, they're not great. But also, they're always really over-edited, aren't they? And really slick and smooth.
Slick.
And going back to what we said earlier, they just don't work on social. They look too fake.
They look like they're advertising, which people don't want on social media.
Yeah. It's the raw, unedited, dog having a poo in the background kind of video. Probably not that, but
I think that might be slightly too far.
It's the seaweed on the beach kind of videos probably work much better than the pushing an old lady over a cliff kind of thing.
Well, you never know. Different strokes for different folks and all that.
Oh my God, you got a saying right.
But I think the beauty of this, especially if you work within a niche and that you know that it's a niche that A, struggles to have video, and B, you know that stock video isn't something like so for example, my client who sells houseboats, there's no options on Canva. It's all bloody Amsterdam and Venice canals. It's nothing like what I need. And I need British waterways. But anyway, so there is a lack of that kind of content out there available. So I have, luckily I've convinced my client to go and pay for a videographer, and that's fine. So that's tick that box. But really what I could do is just walk away around the waterways of England, put together a package of videos and sell it to all these companies that need access to that kind of, which there are many. So if you're in a niche where you know that there's a gap and you know that because you've tried to find them yourself, you could say, you know what, I'm going to go and book 2 days and go and stand on a top of a hill or in IKEA or hire a house or use your mother-in-law's back garden, whatever it may be, to create B-roll that you can then sell to your particular, to any niche, but even better if it's the niche that you know well, then I think that's such a good opportunity. And it's a nice little package.
Just in case anyone's listening thinking, why the hell do they keep saying IKEA? There's been quite a lot of content out there. I mean, IKEA has always been something that's gone down well on social content, but there's been quite a lot of people recently who have actually been taking their products into IKEA, sticking it on like a kitchen in IKEA to take photos and stuff of it. going into the bathroom section and putting some towels up or whatever. It's because it saves you from going and finding a fancy venue, doesn't it? So, as long as you don't get caught, I'm sure it'll be fine. But yeah, that's why we do keep referencing IKEA.
Yeah.
I do think it's genius.
Though. It's a genius idea. You've got so many different interior looks in one building.
Yeah.
And you get to have some meatballs.
Totally. Let's do it.
What are we going to take?
Ourselves. We can just sit in the place where they've got desks. Perfect.
I always think the desk section is
rubbish.
The least inspiring, and it's always got those hands, the wooden hands where kids have walked around sticking their fingers up.
Oh, I've not seen those in our IKEA.
Oh, that's
Don't
just Wednesbury.
Maybe they only have them in Birmingham.
They're like a wooden hand. You can get like a wooden doll that you can move the part, like the leg, and they stand on like a stick, and you can move the arms. They've also got wooden hands, which are all like movable knuckles.
And what's the purpose of these wooden hands?
Well, I don't know. I suppose they're, ornaments. I don't know. But clearly the kids
kind of weirdo would have a wooden hand in their house.
Well, maybe it's just a Birmingham
Have you got one,
thing.
Laura?
No, I don't. But the kids like them because we walk past them and they're all kids have walked around and sticking the middle finger up.
Nice, classy area where you live, yeah.
This is Wednesbury, West Midlands.
We don't get that down here, down south.
No, I'm sure you don't, darling.
Anyway, back on track. So that's our 7 services. Should we just recap what they were? So the first one was a dedicated group B-roll shot. So getting people together, shooting some B-roll. Next up was like a B-roll mastermind day. So it's a bit more in depth, a bit more strategic. Number 3 was a high ticket one-to-one service. So rather than a group, one-to-one. Then you've got an online program where you're helping people over a period of time. And that, as we said, could be live or an evergreen program. You can work with photographers, go along to photo shoots. You could offer that remixing or repurposing service to turn existing content into B-roll ideas. And you could take it one step further by obviously writing scripts or writing the captions and all of that stuff, shooting the videos. And then finally, we talked about selling B-roll videos. With any of these, no matter which one of these you pick, whether you pick one or you pick all 7, or whatever service it is you're offering, always recognise the value of these services and charge accordingly, because these are so valuable. The amount of times that Laura and I are like, oh, let's just do this quick reel, and we don't have a video, neither of us can be asked to brush our hair. If we had a bank of B-roll video, that would be valuable to us. So that is a valuable service that you're offering somebody. You might think, yeah, but it's just a quick video. It isn't. It's a valuable asset for them to use to market their business. So charge accordingly. And think about all of the different ways that you could bundle these things up. You could have different price levels to cater for different types of people. Group offers, lower ticket offers, VIP days, that turning a VIP one-to-one into like a week, all of those things where you can make it at different price points for different people, depending on what your niche is, who your audience is, what people are coming to you asking you for. And don't think of this as a low ticket B-roll is just B-roll kind of service. It's not. This is a valuable thing you could make a lot of money from.
Nice.
I'm
excited by this.
Good.
I think this is going to be the podcast that everyone makes loads of money from.
When you do, please come and tell us.
Yeah,
we love hearing stories of people making money and stuff. So yeah,
I'm excited for this one.
Yeah. Drop into our DMs on Instagram. We are at the 2 Lauras. Let us know which one of these you're most excited to do. Let us know if you start doing it. And of course, come back and let us know when you've made money and take your first booking and what have you. We want to support you. So tell us everything. Okay.
Nice. All right. Well, we will be back same time next week. We'll see you then.
See you then with all your B-rolls. Ta-ra!
Bye.